me know quite often that he loved his wife. I think it was like a test.
The cold wind rustled through the bare trees as Robyn stood by the window, her eyes tracing the falling leaves, like lost hopes drifting to the ground. The house was quiet. Not the comforting kind of quiet that wraps around you like a blanket, but the kind that echoes emptiness in every room, every hallway, every space once filled with laughter and warmth. Kody sat in the next room, his head buried in his hands. The years had changed him, his golden curls now dulled by time and stress, his once vibrant eyes now clouded with regret. But it wasn't time that had changed Robyn. It was disappointment. Quiet, heavy, endless disappointment. Years ago, Robyn had been his shining star, the one he said completed him, the one he defended, protected, and held above all others. He had called their union sacred, their love divine. She had believed every word, every soft whisper late at night when he told her she was different, that she was the one who understood him, that he had finally found his soulmate. But soulmates don't leave you emotionally bankrupt. They don't build castles on broken promises and leave you standing alone in the rubble. Robyn remembered the early days, when Kody would drive across states just to see her, leaving trails of chaos behind in other homes. She remembered the way his eyes lit up when she walked into a room, the way his voice softened when he said her name. She was his escape, his sanctuary, and she let him believe she needed saving too. But love built on escaping others is never love at all. It's a mirage. Over time, the pedestal she was placed upon became a prison. The more he clung to her, the more suffocating it became. While the other wives faded into shadows, their stories buried under resentment and emotional neglect, Robyn stood in the spotlight, and that spotlight grew hot, because the truth was, Robyn never asked to be the favorite. She only asked to be loved genuinely, not to be used as a shield, not to be weaponized in arguments, not to be blamed for a family's collapse. There were nights when she found him pacing the hallways, muttering to himself about loyalty, betrayal, and respect. He blamed Mary for staying too long, Janelle for being too independent, Christine for daring to leave. But never once did he look inward. Never once did he ask, "What did I do wrong?" Robyn's heart cracked further each time. He turned the blame outward. She watched him grow angrier, more isolated. The man who once danced barefoot in the kitchen, who built snowmen with the kids, who spoke of legacy and unity with passion, he was disappearing before her eyes. The house had become a museum of broken dreams. Shelves lined with untouched family albums, walls covered with family portraits that now felt like lies frozen in time. The children noticed. They stopped asking where Dad was. They stopped trying to bring him back with board games and backyard barbecues. They saw the cracks. So did Robyn. And still she stayed, because she believed love meant holding on, because she had sacrificed too much to walk away. Because even though the others had left, she thought maybe she was the glue that could still hold his broken world together. But glue doesn't fix glass. It only hides the fractures. One night, as rain tapped softly against the windows, Robyn stood in the doorway of their room and asked the question she had buried for years. "Do you love me, or do you just need me to stay so you're not alone?" Kody didn't answer right away. He looked at her like a man staring at a ghost, something familiar yet distant, something he once cherished but no longer understood. And in that silence, Robyn found her answer. She turned away before the tears could fall, not because she was afraid, but because she knew they wouldn't change anything. She had given him her youth, her loyalty, her unwavering belief that he was a man worth fighting for. But some wars aren't meant to be won. Some are just meant to show you that peace is the real victory. In the following weeks, Robyn started to change. She smiled more, but not the forced kind she had mastered for the cameras. It was subtle at first. Then it grew. She began painting again, something she hadn't done in years. The canvas became her journal. Colors bled where words couldn't. The children noticed. They asked fewer questions. They stopped tiptoeing around the sadness in the house. They began laughing again, in the kitchen, in the hallways, in the backyard. And Kody, he watched it all happen from a distance. He didn't try to stop it. He didn't ask questions, because deep down, he knew. He knew the woman standing before him now wasn't the same one he had charmed all those years ago. She wasn't the one who had waited patiently for his attention. She wasn't the one who tried to carry the burden of a crumbling family on her shoulders. She was new, she was free, and he was alone. One evening, Robyn walked into the living room with her bags packed.